Hi guys, welcome back. Judy Wong here. And today we're going to talk about the one thing that people don't like to talk about, which is fear. Now, this is a topic that many people shy away from. In fact, in some cultures, they shy away from it to the degree that they will do anything possible to avoid the topic. So, for example, I come from Chinese cultural roots, and the whole concept of death is something that nobody wants to talk about. They don't want to even use the number four, which sounds like the word death, in the way that they build buildings and structures, and they never actually say that somebody's died. They say somebody has passed on or crossed over, and other terminology that's similar. Now, there's nothing wrong with this because, from a spiritual perspective, I totally agree that we are spiritual beings and that our energy just moves on from one form to another. But the reason I'm bringing this up and I'm tying it to fear is because if you look into who you are as a person and your ego, every decision you make is actually driven either by love or by fear. And the importance of understanding this is that every time you choose not to do something, one of the major reasons you're probably holding back, aside from the fact that there might be all these practical aspects, such as, oh, I don't have X, Y, and Z, it's because you're afraid. You're afraid that the decision that you make might lead to death. You're afraid that the decision might lead to having zero money in the bank. It might lead to you sleeping on the street. It might lead to the fact that it will destroy a relationship and therefore you will be outcasted and you will no longer fit in. Well, trade that off with, I have these dreams and there are things that I really want to fulfill. And the only reason that I'm even thinking about pursuing these dreams is because I know I'm here for a greater reason with a greater purpose. And if you come from a place of love, if you come from a place of wanting to fully open yourself up to the universe and expanding to all the possibilities of the abundance and the free flowing energy that can come into your life, then there's no reason to shrink in fear. Now, I'm saying this because as I do this particular recording, it's a point in time where there's a lot of cultural sensitivities all over the globe. You see, there's the coronavirus that has broken out, and I am seeing society as a whole come to a halt in some areas of China, and I'm only seeing this in the news. But living in Hong Kong, I see how people shrink back in fear. In fact, when my son was at a restaurant, we were eating, and his jacket accidentally brushed against the person next to him in a chair. That person gave my child, who's like a 7-year-old, the absolute dirtiest glare and said, "Don't touch me, it's better for both of us that way." And if you think about it, why would a grown male react in such a fashion? It's because there is so much fear that's so deeply rooted. And this doesn't just apply to one culture, it applies to all of us. We are beings, animals, who have been trained in our paradigms, in our mindset, through our physicality and physiology, to run from anything that may potentially pose as a threat. But what I'm going to challenge you with today is to write down your greatest fears. And if you take a look, those fears will probably take you back to this whole concept of death. We are afraid of our dying. And yet, what if this death is only an illusion? Now, I'm not saying that our spirits will leave this body, but what if these death concepts that our ego is feeding us is really, on the one hand, trying to protect us, but on the other hand, completely restraining us and refraining us from stepping into greater power and becoming better versions of ourselves? What if, because we're listening to this ego feeding us these false concepts of potentially dying, that we don't ever find out how powerful we truly are, and that we don't ever use the gifts that we have to serve on this planet for the purpose that we were placed here? That's my call. I don't know if you heard that, but there's somebody screaming in the background, and that's my kids. So I gotta check out, and I'll speak with you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.